Welcome into the nature channeling series for Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park. My name is Chrissy Whistler. I'm an intuitive, a channel, and a parent of two multi-dimensional magical kids. In this video, I'm going to, I'm going to play this solar plexus singing bowl that I have here. And there's a message that Spirit is asking me to share that I've been hearing around surrender and sovereignty, surrendering to what is. But for now, I'd like you to just take a deep breath, enjoy the sounds of the forest around me. The wind of the meadow is starting to pick up a little bit. The sounds of this bowl. Visualize it As I said, my name is Christy Whistler, and I'm so glad that you're here. I wasn't quite expecting to start tuning into the music, the song of the land here, and the song of this beautiful sequoia. What was a sequoia, and now it's just the remains of it. And it wasn't what I had expected to be filming in front of, and yet the moment I saw it, I knew it was the perfect spot, especially for what I'm going to talk about here, which is surrendering. Now, I will also say that I'm not gonna get close to sharing everything that I have on my mind about this. And it is also something that I am continually learning more about. How to let go, how to surrender to what is. And I'm smiling right now because one of the lessons for me on this trip, the message that's coming through very strongly from these ancient beings, is surrendering. So I am learning right now with you more, we're not just tap dancing on the surface of this, but we're going in deeper. So as always, I want to apologize. I've got no makeup on. I have camping hair, and I'm doing one of those handheld camera things because it was just way easier for me to work with than lugging out the big old tripod. So just disclaimer, you are seeing me as I am. No filters. No filters at all. And again, surrendering to the truth of this moment. And why is it so important? Why? As I was walking with the kids yesterday, I think it was yesterday, time is getting really funky for me, as we were hiking through this area that had been burned. I don't know how many years ago at this point, but there were both sequoia trees that had survived and plenty that hadn't. And it's like surrendering to what life is. I had been expecting when I came out here that I would do more filming in front of sequoias and meditate with them and listen to them, all the things. But I couldn't because last fall we had a really bad fire come through. And nearly all of the trails to the different sequoia groves are closed. And thousands of trees were lost. These trees that are so mighty that in fact require fire in order to survive. It's how their pine cones open. So it's part of their circle of life, okay? It's part of their cycle. And yet our changing world, this changing climate, the beetles that have come in because of the drought, they've been less resistant to. So fires come in and just kind of starts wiping them out because they're not at their most resilient self anymore. things have changed. And I did feel a lot of grief. And I actually did a shorter message there in front of those trees, which you can check out. But it was like both. It was this message of feeling grief for this loss. I mean, even for the loss behind me, that humans went and cut down this ancient being thousands of years old because they could make a profit. And maybe that is exactly what they needed, their family, to survive. So it's like, how can you be in this grief and also not go to a place of anger and judgment, to just surrender? It is what it is. This beautiful being was cut down, and my anger won't change that. It'll just keep me stuck in this angry space. And yet instead, I'm sitting in front of her. Her just popped into my mind. And I could be wrong, but it feels like a feminine force. I'm sitting in front of her and bringing you this magic that's still here. The message that she has, it's still here for all of us. Sorry, I'm sitting on the ground, so I've also got some ants saying hello to me as well. So again, this message of surrendering, okay? I could have been really upset that I wasn't able to go hiking to see the sequoias, and to feel their wisdom around me. I could have been really upset that the friends that we were, like, the whole reason we came out here was to be with them, and they had to cancel because they got sick. So there was surrendering to what is. And as one of my teachers, beautiful message that she shared early on in the pandemic, which came to her from ayahuasca, during a journey with ayahuasca. There's always another way. There's always another way. There's always another way to see, to turn that diamond and see out of another facet, to change and switch your perspective. The greatest teacher for me about surrendering has been my children. Cue my children making noises. Because Kate and Eric, like, they were born being exactly who they were. There is nothing I could have possibly done to change them, to make them, quote unquote, more normal. It just, no. They said to me, their mother, this is who I am. Can you accept it? Can you not resist what is? It didn't matter how much speech therapy I would have sent them to. It still would not have pushed them to talk any sooner than they did. All I could do was surrender and let go of that resistance. let go of my fear, let go of my doubts, and just come as much as I could into a place of trust. That doesn't mean I didn't have fear and doubts, because oh boy, I did. But it was this continually realigning to trust, realigning to surrendering, to not resisting, to accepting. And again, that's so much the message these trees have been sharing with me. To not resist the truth that the rains have shifted and changed. We are in a drier climate, and it is very true that these sequoia trees might not be here for the next 1,000 years. I don't know, and they don't know. So, can I let go and stop resisting that truth and just accept what is? And can you, in your life, whatever that is for you, let go? Now, what Spirit is continually reminding me to share with you, and you're gonna have to forgive me, I don't have any video cards or notes. Like, this is kind of just off the cusp of what was and has been coming to me. So we're just gonna go with it and see where it takes us. It's really important to say as well that resisting isn't just about laying down and saying, oh, there's nothing I can do to like change this oppressive thing that might be happening to me. I'm speaking, what's coming more specifically is about human law, man-made paper law, systematic wrongs that are quite alive in our world, depending very much who you are, how you look, the color of your skin, all that. So this isn't to say you just roll over and be like, well, I can't change anything, so no use trying. Like, that is not the message, okay? The message is to surrender to this truth of, okay, this is how life is. I'm not going to fight against that reality. I'm not going to even stay stuck in a place of anger, right? Because that anger is like that resistance energy, and it's not about that. It's about something more. It's about finding that other way, turning the facet of that diamond and seeing a new perspective. That is very much the invitation. Just like this tree stump behind me, that is one truth of it. Now turn it again, and you might see a deeper truth. Not a deeper truth, but just another perspective of truth. As I was sharing, this could have come down to support a family who needed food because our systems were still in place that can make that very difficult if you're not born to certain circumstances and opportunities and wealth already. So again, it's how do we look at things? If something isn't working, how can you see it from a new perspective to find a new path that works better? And again, like to share just with who my children are. I knew very early on that going the traditional route of speech therapy and school and education wasn't going to work for them. I mean, to be fair, I knew before before my kids were old enough, like I knew very early on that I was going to homeschool, but I didn't know that about Kate and her language challenges, that would actually be the best choice for her. Okay, so I'll just kind of like throw that in there. But those systems wouldn't have worked because it's not what they needed. So instead of forcing them, you know, these square pegs that they are into a round hole, I just said, okay, where else can these square pegs go that works? And lo and behold, guys, this is what works for them. Being out in nature has been, oh my gosh, their greatest teacher ever. And sometimes when I share this with people, like how often we go camping, I get these strange looks, like, how, isn't that too much? Like, what, like they can't understand how, oh, I have like a whole bunch of ants hanging on me. Guys, come on. I'm not on an anthill, but I literally had like 5 ants hanging out on my toes. I guess when I get back to a place of internet, I should check out ant spirit guides and see what their messages are. Really? You too? There's a baby one. But the truth is, I surrendered to who my kids were, and I said, okay, show me who you are. Show me what you need. And it took a lot of courage. Like, I'm not gonna beat around the bush with that. And it still does. It is incredibly hard to move through this world sometimes when you have someone who isn't gonna conform, and to lovingly give them that space and set boundaries, right? A couple months ago was really rough of teaching Eric's social boundaries. That was not easy, and I'm someone who really feels the energy and emotions of other people and their judgment. So having to really like hold that space for him and also do my own healing stuff where I don't rely on the opinions of others, that what I carry within myself, my own confidence, my own courage, my own knowing of where our direction is, our true north is, like having that come from within me, that has taken a lot of work and a lot of deconditioning. Because boy, was I taught the opposite. So, again, my invitation to you is, how can you surrender to what is in your life? Maybe you have children like mine who are magical and diverse, and they're not going to fit. They're not going to fit in any traditional setting. They are not going to go into those round holes because maybe they're triangle pegs or square ones or whatever shape. They're just them. And to just kind of let that go and just be like, this is who you are. I will let you be who you are. And now let's together find a new way of doing this. And that is scary. That is going to take courage every step along the way until you get to a point where you turn and look behind you and you're amazed at how far you've come. I feel like the bugs are telling me to wrap it up. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you don't have kids. Maybe it's about a job situation or a relationship that's not working for you. You know, it's that definition of insanity, right? How many times are you going to bang your head against the wall and expect a different result? So this invitation is just surrender to the truth of whatever your situation is, and then turn that viewpoint just a little bit. And now what can you see instead? Now what is there for you? What is waiting to reveal itself to you? It takes a great deal of courage to surrender. It takes a great deal of courage to just let go, because that means stepping off the familiar path, what's comfortable, what's known, and instead heading into the wilderness. And you don't know where you're going to end up. In fact, the only thing you may know deep in your gut and in your soul is that the way things currently are isn't working. It's not right. So can you find your courage and just say, no more. I'm done. I'm done fighting this. It's time to let go, and it's time to find another way. It is time to find my way. And I really hope you do. Ants, come on, guys. Come on. Okay. These bugs are telling me that it's time to wrap this up, and I'm just gonna trust that the messages that wanted to come through came through. Thank you so much for watching, and please, you will find other videos and channelings coming through from the sequoia trees, from Kings Canyon. I mentioned finding another way. Like, I wasn't meant to do those videos about the redwoods, and instead I'm getting taken in a whole nother direction, which in fact it was Kate who opened that door to the very people who built the road into Kings Canyon, which were convicts back in I think the 1930s. And get this, I actually wrote a historical mystery set there. I wrote a story a few years ago. So it's like Spirit has been leading me to this. So I'm surrendering, I'm letting go. I had to let go big time kayaking with the kids. Oh, I did forget to mention that. Oh yeah, kayaking and letting that wind take us where it wanted to, and just not resisting and going with the flow. This trip has been all about not resisting and letting go and just surrendering and finding the other path, letting the wind push me and then finding my opening of flow of where I wanted to go. So anyway, just wanted to throw that in there really quick. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. Share this video with your friends, and if you need support, check out my website. Are you done with these?
Yeah.
Oh yes, as he says, with a mouthful of candy. All right, I will catch you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.